When it comes to cost, what's the most effective, cordless or air?
Wow, that's the $1 million question, isn't it?
It is,
That's
isn't
the
it?
question I get asked almost daily, if you want to say it. Look, cost effectiveness is a big balance because you've got to look at it from a whole of workshop perspective. If I just sit down and I look at the cost of a given pneumatic tool or a given cordless tool, some of them, have fairly dramatic differences in price, and others are very similar in price. But in the background, obviously, with a pneumatic tool, you've got to have an air compressor, an air dryer, obviously the air lines and all the stuff that goes along
Water
with that.
separators.
Yeah, all that stuff's got to be there. However, in most workshops, it's there, and it's got to be there because it's not like we don't pump up tyres anymore, and it's not like we don't blow out filters and we don't clean bearings and do all sorts of different jobs with air. So air's sort of there anyway. So if you take that out of the equation,
Do they make a cordless tyre inflator?
they do. They do.
I always knew there was
that
something coming.
exists, but not very effective. And a great example of that is
Yet.
if you want to, look, it'll be a big change because if you want to pop a tyre, the bead onto a rim, you need a lot of air really, really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's very difficult to do with cordless. Obviously, you could use a cordless to inflate a tank to do it, and it can be done. But right now, it would be somewhat ineffective.
But if you're looking to put
change.
these in your workshop right now and you've got this one and this one, the infrastructure behind this, you obviously have to put it in, but it can stay long term.
Yep.
This one here.
And it's a great example because what you're talking about there is two tools. The one, the air tool there, around $120 to $150, and will give you a very long service life. On the other side, your service life will be shorter, but your cost is up around $300 to $400, depending. And I'm being not brand specific here. I'm talking about, the brands that are at the top end of the field that are servicing the mechanical industry. That's where they sit. So all of a sudden you've got, something that's almost 3 times the price. So you start to actually go, which way would I go? There's the advantage of that one not having the airline, but then the other one has the advantage of being a very small tool that can fit into a very small space. And in modern cars, the key word today is accessibility. So it doesn't matter which tool we're talking about, you buy the tool that gives you the ability to do the job easier. And sometimes that means it's got an airline on the back, and sometimes that means it's got a battery on the back. That really is what it comes down, which is, going back to an earlier question where you said, what do they prefer? They prefer the tool that does the job easier and gives them a better accessibility.
Right tool for the right job.
Exactly.
So just on that, let's pull that part a little bit, because when you're in a workshop and you've got technicians working for you, the workshop will normally provide the air and the line.
Correct.
The technician will provide their tools. So there will be some technicians that will be brought up in what we'll call the digital age, which won't know air. They'll only know cordless. Whereas there'll be some older technicians that go, no, hang on a second, I only use pneumatic. But also, I'll also say this to you, there are a lot of vehicles now that are so expensive, and I'm thinking about the interiors and what has to be done when you're pulling a dash off or something like that, where you don't want to have an airline that's been on the ground dragged into the car. You really need to be looking at the cordless option.
Yeah, look, you're absolutely right. And that's sometimes where these things come to play. You're using the tool, again, that's perfect for the job and fits in the job. But you know what? When you get inside the car and you're trying to pull something out that's like that, a lot of it's around about feel. I mean, I hate to say it, this isn't just air versus power.
I know, we're trying to make a bit of an argument there, aren't we?
It should be air versus power versus hand.
Yeah.
And there are some places where you've got to use the hand tool because you should never put either of these anywhere near a fastener you're trying to undo in the right application. So again, it all comes back to right place, right time.